So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a short span of time. Now today's lecture is going to be short and crisp. Why? Well, there were not much news items that were of significance for us civil services aspirants. Okay, so today's newspaper was full of other news items, but those news items were not significant for us, for our exams. Okay, yet there were three topics that were of significance and we will pay full attention to those three topics because questions can be asked from there as well. Okay, so let's begin today's discussion. Okay, but first let's take a look at those topics. Okay, so let's begin. The daily current affairs, 29th of October, Wednesday, and here is the topics list. So number one topic is, you all must have heard about this. During winters, well, Delhi NCR region suffers from heavy severe air pollution. So this time around, they are experimenting with artificial rain, cloud seeding to combat pollution. Okay, so we'll talk about this. Then second news item is related to 8th Central Pay Commission, which decides the salaries and pensions of central government employees. So we'll talk about this. And a novel experiment is being conducted in the Amazon rainforest called Amazon Face Experiment. So what is this experiment? Of what use is this experiment? We'll talk about all these things. Okay. So topic number one is related to, well, environment portion of your UPSC syllabus. Topic number two is related to economics portion, but also polity portion of your UPSC syllabus. So we'll write two, both of them. And the third topic is again related to environment portion of your UPSC syllabus. Okay. So these are the three news items that we shall zero in our attention on. So let's start discussing them one by one. Starting with topic number one, and that is cloud seeding to combat pollution. Now you all are familiar with this. Okay. As soon as we reach October, November, December, well, North India, particularly Delhi NCR region and the surrounding regions, because of various factors, suffer from severe air pollution. Severe air pollution. Some people say that a normal person who is breathing Delhi's air is unwillingly smoking at least 20 to 30 cigarettes a day. That is the extent of air pollution in Delhi. Now, this makes the city unlivable, okay, and would also increase the health burden on the health infrastructure in future. Therefore, something needs to be done about this. Now, various steps have been taken. Okay, graded response action plan has been triggered and many steps are taken to reduce the level of air pollution. But still, the pollution is severe. Now we are experimenting with artificial rain because when rainfall occurs, the air becomes clean temporarily. Now we are experimenting with artificial rain. And the technique for causing artificial rain is known as cloud seeding. Gulf countries already follow this technique. They do this. Dubai is known for its artificial rains. Okay. And many countries, many arid regions, many drought-prone regions follow this technique of cloud seeding. This time around, Delhi will experiment with cloud seeding, but not because of drought-like conditions, because of air pollution. Okay. So what is this cloud seeding? Who is running this experiment in Delhi? What are the benefits? What are the conditions for cloud seeding to be successful? All these things would be talked about in this topic. Okay, so let's begin. So cloud seeding to combat pollution. Okay, so what was in the news? So at around 3 p.m. on Tuesday, October 28th, a small aircraft known as Cessna 206H conducted a cloud seeding trial. Right now it is in trial phase in Delhi amid recent spike in air pollution. Now this entire experiment of cloud seeding was initiated by IIT Kanpur. And this would be the first major scientific attempt in India to reduce pollution via cloud seeding. Okay, so this would be the first time when we'll use cloud seeding for combating air pollution. Simple. Okay, now what is cloud seeding? You all should know this that, well, you should know this that how are clouds formed? Okay, so the thing is that there are small particles, small solid particles. They are so light that they rise up in the air. When they reach significant heights, well, water vapor, because at these significant heights, well, water vapor condenses, right? Now, water vapor condenses, just a second, yeah. So, water vapor condenses, so let's suppose these are those particles. So, water vapor condenses on these particles. By condensing, it becomes liquid, okay? And water droplets are formed. So, these small particles exist. At significant heights, because temperature is low, water vapor starts to condense around these particles in a circular shape, okay, spherical shape. And as more and more water vapor condenses on these particles, well, the clouds are formed and clouds become thick. And when these particles, when these clouds, or when these spheres become too heavy with water, too laden with water, well, they drop off in the form of rain, right? This is how things work. Now, this small particle on which water vapor condenses is called hygroscopic nuclei. Okay, it is also known as nuclei or nucleus, around which water vapor is condensing. So, what do we do in cloud seeding? We basically go in the upper atmosphere through aircraft, and then we spray these small particles into the air. These small particles act as nuclei on which water vapor would condense. Thereby, we are providing the raw material on which water vapor can condense, water droplets can form, and artificial rain can occur. This is what cloud seeding is, and through cloud seeding, this artificial rain is caused. This is what we are trying to do in Delhi. All right. So let's talk about cloud seeding. So the definition by Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology in 2024, it says modifying suitable clouds with seed particles. These solid particles that are sprayed are called seed particles to increase rainfall. So already clouds exist. You are just making them thicker by spraying more seed particles. Now, what type of seed particles are used? Seed particles called cloud condensation nuclei or hygroscopic nuclei facilitate formation of larger droplets or sometimes even ice crystals if the temperatures are that low in the air. Common seeding agents, or which particles are sprayed? Silver iodide, potassium iodide, sodium chloride, even salt is sprayed in the air. Okay. Seeds are dispersed from aircraft or ground generators. Delhi trial used pyrotechnic flares attached to aircraft wings. This is pyrotechnic flares. So the aircraft is flying, okay, and on the wings of this aircraft there are these rockets, okay, these flares. These flares will spray potassium iodide or sodium chloride crystals into the air. This is how things work. Okay. Now let's talk a bit more about these cloud artificial rain or cloud seeding. Okay. Let's talk about efficacy and challenges. Okay. Remember this. Remember, this is important. The conditions for successful cloud seeding experiment are that there should be, first of all, existing cloud cover. If there are clear skies, cloud seeding won't work. If clouds already exist, then only you can make them thicker and cause rain. Okay, so cloud cover is a essentiality. Condition number 2 is there should be significant water vapor in the air. If winds are dry, well, there won't be any water vapor to condense on these nuclei. So significant cloud cover and water vapor. Now, the thing is, during winters in Delhi, there are western disturbances, okay, which sometimes cause winter rainfall in Delhi and snowfall in the Himalayas. These western disturbances can bring cloud cover and water vapor, but sometimes these western disturbances are not that strong. So the clouds are thin, water vapor is scarce. So in that case, this cloud seeding won't work, but in some cases it will work. So let's see what happens. Right now, the government is conducting experiments only. Clear? So yeah, efficacy and challenges. Cloud seeding in India has mostly targeted drought relief with mixed success. We have only targeted drought relief. But this time around, we are doing it for pollution. Rain can wash away pollutants temporarily by coagulating aerosols like particulate matter 2.510 on raindrops. Effectiveness depends on significant rainfall. Plus, the thing is, its effectiveness is the pollution levels would come down for a very short span of time, couple of days. Then again, pollution will come back. So this is the thing. Critics highlight it addresses pollution symptoms rather than the causes such as vehicle emission, industry pollutants, dust, stubble burning, fireworks. So basically, air pollution is like a disease. Now, when a doctor is treating a disease, well, in this case, if we are doing cloud seeding, it's just like giving paracetamol. Okay, give paracetamol, bring down fever. But that would be just controlling the symptoms. You're not actually going to the root cause of the disease. You're just controlling the fever symptom. This is what critics say. Let's see what happens, okay? But remember this, cloud seeding, it is going to happen. Right now, trials are going on, but it's going to happen in future as well, okay? More and more in Delhi. All right. Now let's move on to second news item, and that is 8th Central Pay Commission. Now almost every decade, central government forms Central Pay Commission. Now Central Pay Commission decides what is going to be the salary, some remuneration, even pensions of retired employees. And these employees will be central government employees. So all central government employees, their salaries and pensions and allowances are decided by this Central Pay Commission every 10 years, almost every 10 years. Okay. Now currently central government employees are receiving salaries based on 7th Pay Commission. Now 8th Pay Commission has been constituted, and this pay commission will give its recommendation, and from 2026 onwards, central government employees will receive salaries based on 8th Pay Commission recommendations. Now, the reason why this pay commission is set up every 10 years is to basically increase the salary of central government employees based on the circumstances. Okay, after every 10 years, inflation levels are significant. So to take care of that inflation, cost of living standard, you increase the salaries of central government employees, right? Make sense? So that's all you need to know. But let's talk about 8th Central Pay Commission and its mandate. Okay. So 8th Central Pay Commission. So what was in the news? The Union Cabinet has approved the terms of reference of 8th Central Pay Commission. Terms of reference means what recommendations will you give? You will give recommendations on salary, pensions, working conditions, allowances. So all what is your job? On what will you recommend? That is terms of reference. Okay, so the cabinet has approved terms of reference for 8th Central Pay Commission, the body in charge of deciding the pay structure and retirement benefits of central government employees. Remember, central government employees only, not state. The government had announced the formation of CPC in January this year, but it was constituted in October by Union Cabinet. Okay, announcement was made that we will form CPC in January this year. Okay, now about CPC or 8th CPC. So CPC is basically a temporary expert body set up by Union government to review and recommend revisions in salary structure, allowances, pensions, benefits of central government employees. Okay. The tenure of this commission is, well, generally 18 months. In 18 months, especially 8th Central Pay Commission, in 18 months, it will decide what is going to be the salary structure of central government employees. Okay. This time around, the chairperson is retired Judge Ranjana Prakash Desai. The coverage. Who will get covered under this? So this will cover serving and retired employees of central government, defense forces, all India services like IS officers, IPS officers, Indian Forest Services officers, and UTs, officers of UTs also, because UTs don't come under any state government, they come under union government. Okay? Now, what is the mandate of CPC? What things this CPC has to take care of? Okay? So if we talk about the mandate, well, they will take care of, or they will decide on the pay and pension review. Okay, they will review the pay and pension structure. But they have to make sure that they won't recommend that salary or that pension which would create too much burden, fiscal burden on the central government. Because if they'll increase the salary too much, well, government will have to spend too much money. And government has limited money. So if too much of government's money is going towards salaries and pensions, well, little would be left for welfare of other people. Right? So they have to take care of fiscal prudence as well, fiscal policy as well. Then they should make sure that the kind of salaries they are recommending creates parity between central government employees, central PSUs, even private players. There shouldn't be any discrepancy. Okay. Then the thing is that whatever Central Pay Commission decides, generally state governments also follow it for their own employees. So state government employees sometimes directly follow 7th Pay Commission, 6th Pay Commission. So this will also decide the impact of these Pay Commission recommendations on state finances, whether states have the capacity to pay this much salary. Okay. And yes, they are going to recommend pensions, but those pensions should be sustainable. It shouldn't put too much burden on the government. Government should be able to pay these pensions. You understand? So this is their mandate. Okay. Now, what is the importance of pay commissions? So to ensure fair pay based on economic conditions, inflation, cost of living, to ensure that there is balance between salaries and pensions and other expenditures of the government. Okay. You can't spend all your money in salaries and pensions only. Government can't do that. So this, then service conditions, they decide on service conditions as well. and policy guidance for states, because states generally follow their recommendations. Clear? Simple? Okay. Now let's quickly shift our focus to last news item of the day, and that is Amazon Face experiment. Now listen to me very carefully, and we'll finish this topic very quickly, because this thing is an experimental stage only. Okay, this is an experiment, but a useful one. You know about Amazon rainforests. Okay, Amazon rainforests are in South America, and they are one of the thickest forests in the world. And the thing is that it is generally said that 20% of the world's oxygen comes from the trees in these forests. That is why Amazon rainforests are also known as lungs of the earth. Okay, they absorb carbon dioxide from the air and they release oxygen through photosynthesis. We all know about this. Okay, but the thing is, global warming is happening. And the reason why global warming is happening is because greenhouse gases are being emitted into the atmosphere. With these emissions, with these carbon emissions, what is happening? Global temperatures are rising. Now, the thing is that people, scientists, have made certain predictions about global warming. Okay, that 10 years from now, if things are not changed, if we are not serious about climate change, then carbon dioxide levels would reach this much and temperatures would reach this much. They have made certain predictions based on climate modeling and all, right? Now, what will happen when carbon dioxide levels would reach here and temperatures would reach here? What will happen to our forests? What will happen to Amazon rainforests? Okay, we want to know the answer to this question now. So that is why, well, in the Amazon rainforest, they are conducting experiments. So they are creating 6 rings. Okay, these rings are created through steel towers. So there are these steel towers. Okay, I'll show through a picture. There are these steel towers and they enclose certain trees in the Amazon rainforest. Okay, now these steel towers will artificially emit more and more carbon dioxide and increase the temperature of these rings to see what impact does it have on the trees. This experiment is being conducted. Whatever the climate would be in future, we are artificially creating that environment now to see what happens to these forests. Okay, this is what Amazon Face experiment is all about. Okay, so let's talk about this quickly. Okay, so Amazon Face experiment. So deep in Brazil's Amazon, scientists have built a time machine, pumping CO2 into the rainforest canopy to stimulate atmospheric conditions predicted for future. So CO2 would be more in future. You are artificially pumping CO2 now to see how Amazon biome adapts. Okay, at the Amazon Face project near Manaus, which is a place in Brazil, the largest city in Amazon, 6 rings of steel towers loom above the jungle canopy. Each ring surrounds 50 to 70 mature trees. So what are these 6 rings? Take a look at this. Okay, so these are the steel towers. Okay, these steel towers enclose within them 50 to 70 trees, and there are 6 such rings. Okay, in 3 of these rings, you will artificially pump extra CO2 and increase the temperature to see how these trees react. And in the remaining 3 rings, so in 3 rings, you will artificially pump CO2 and temperature, and in the other 3 rings, you will do no such thing. Okay, to see how the forests react to natural environment. Just to make a comparison between these 3 rings where artificial environment is created and other 3 rings. This is Amazon Face experiment. Okay, so the goal is to recreate the atmosphere of the future and observe ecosystem level responses. Continuous sensors record data on photosynthesis, oxygen release, water vapor exchange every 10 minutes. So continuous monitoring would happen through sensors. It is a first of a kind experiment. Okay, first large scale phase experiment in a natural tropical forest extending earlier phase trials in temperate regions. These kind of experiments were conducted before also, but these were conducted in colder regions like North America, North Europe. It's for the first time this would be conducted in tropical regions. Okay, conducted near Manaus, Brazil, supported by National Institute for Amazon Research, University Estadual, this is in Portuguese, with collaboration from UK government. Okay, that's about it. That's all you need to know. Yes, what is the importance of this experiment? This is given in your notes, very easy to understand. So just go through the notes. All right, and that would be all. With that, we conclude today's session. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. No matter how short the lecture was, it has still added value to your preparation, provided you will revise this lecture from the notes provided by us on our Telegram channel. Okay, the link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below, so do check that out. And that would be all from my side, guys. On that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of news items. Thank you, everyone.